Hi friends, welcome back. It's Yoli once again, your friend and coach in AgriBits. So as promised, we will continue to talk about the evolution or origin of cultivated crops in the second part of the topic. So please stay tuned. Well, let's know some important information about this topic. So we must understand that agriculture started around 10,000 to 15,000 years ago, just after the end of the last ice age. We also should understand that Charles Darwin, we know him well because he is the author of The Origin of Species, and he was the one who taught us about evolution. So Darwin believed about the existence of geographic centers of origin of biological species described in his book on the origins of species that was published in 1859. Then we have also here Alphonse de Candolle. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he was a French-Swiss botanist, and he published his work on geographic regions of origin of the principal cultivated plants, but he included the entire continents or yung mga large territories on the on documenting the origin of our crops. And he was able to publish yung book po niya or libro niya na titled Origin of Cultivated Plants noong 1885. Then we also have here another scientist who played a very important role on the tracing back of origins of our crops today. So his name is Nikolai Vavilov. Although unfortunately he died so young, he was a Russian geneticist and botanist, and he published his work, The Centers of Origin of the Cultivated Plants. That was way back in 1926, and he was the one who proposed about the 8 centers of plant origin. Although it, it is noted that there are still maybe 2 or more centers of crop origin. Hindi lang iisa kasi yung mga works ni Vavilov noon, they were refuted sa mga sumusunod na years because there were, as the years went by and marami ng evidences on tracing back the origins of our crops, yung mga works niya na nauna medyo na-refute. Okay, but indispensable pa rin yung works ni Nikolai Vavilov because he was actually the one who first had traveled the whole world para lang makumuha ng mga samples, ng plant samples and trace back kung saan nag-originate ang each plant na yon. So he concluded that each crop has a characteristic of its own and has a characteristic primary center of diversity also, which is also its center of. Now, let us define kung ano yung germplasm, which is parating nababanggit sa yung sa unang slide. This had been mentioned. So this is a genetic pool that is composed of living genetic resources maintained for breeding and conservation. Although ang germplasm, it is mainly for they are collected and used for conservation. And then, ang germplasm, these are collections of plant tissues. Kaya nga meron tayong ding germplasm sa mga tissue culture laboratories where hindi seeds ang nakalagay doon kundi yung mga tissues talaga that came from different crop sources. And germplasm collection also may be in the form of seeds that are stored in seed banks. So we have seed banks around the world, around the globe. Sa atin, dito sa Pilipinas, meron din tayo yung IRI, it's the International Rice Research Institute, kasi dito sa Southeast Asia, it was believed, or even sa Far East Asia, dito sa Asia, it was believed na dito galing ang ating rice. Kaya ang ating center of or germplasm collection is located in Asia, particularly dito sa atin. And we have also yung mga diversity collections or germplasm collections ng corn, hindi dito sa Pilipinas matatagpuan, but this is stationed in Mexico. Kasi doon naman ang origin, sa part na mga yun, ang origin sa Central America, origin ng corn. And germplasm collections may also be in the form of trees that are maintained in nurseries or in our parks. This may be also be lines that are conserved in gene banks and many other form of collections. So this can range from collections of wild species or sa elite species. Ang elite, ibig sabihin nito ay mga domesticated lines that have undergone extensive human selection. So this is important for the maintenance of biological diversity and of course for food security. So this is now the Modern Day Research Institute of Plant Industry, yung pinatayo ni Vavilov noon. So this is now yung modern kasi parang na bago yung dati na building ng Vavilov's Research Institute of Plant Industry. So this is located in St. Petersburg in Russia. So this center remains an important resource for germplasm maintenance and utilization until today. Then, in here, this is a map that shows the Vavilov's 8 centers of crop origin, although in many literatures or in other literatures or books that you will find, iba yung mga arrangements ng ating centers. But these are mainly yung mga 8 na pinropose ni Vavilov noon. So, una dito is China. So this is in other books, nade-describe ito as the East Asia or Far East Asia Center. Okay, then meron tayong India. So this center India, which in other literatures also or books, this is described as the Hindustanian or South Asia Center. Then may subcenter ito, tayo ay subcenter ng Hindustanian dito sa Southeast Asia. So 2A, na number siya ng 2A. Then we have Turkey and Iraq. These two here are actually parts of the Fertile Crescent or Near East, which I will be described sa next slide. So this is another center. And then we have Mediterranean Center, and then Ethiopian Center, or ito your East and West African Center. Then we have the Central American Center or Mesoamerican Center. Then we have the South American Center, where you will find Peru, Andes, Brazil, kung saan nanggaling yung iba nating mga crops. So etong 8th center, itong ika-8th ay may dalawang sub-centers. Okay, so ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na Fertile Crescent or the Near East. May isa pa itong pangalan. And it is called Fertile Crescent because of the C shape or the crescent shape. It resembles the C shape where most of our crops have originated. So you can see how the C forms when this starts from this area in Jordan, then going to Syria, then to southern Turkey, down here to Iraq, through the Euphrates River, and then the Tigris River down here. So, andito yung Tigris River dito. So, you can see, nakikita C-shape or crescent shape. And you can see also, etong mga diamond shapes dito. So, maraming diamond shapes dito which indicates na ito yung mga ancient sites or ancient digging sites. Or ito yung mga archaeological sites where they have found a lot of remnants of plant debris and even plant fossils and even implements that were used in early agriculture. That is why itong Fertile Crescent, it is believed to have where most of our crops have really originated. Now, let us further see some crops that came from the different centers of origin. So, mga ano lang, introduction ng mga ilan lang na crops that originated per center. Dito, the Chinese center, ito ay dinescribe ni Vavilov na meron siyang na-recognize doon na 138 distinct species like cereals, especially buckwheats and legumes. In this Chinese center, let us not forget yung soybean natin. This is a legume. Yung soybean is a legume crop. So in China, there are volumes and volumes of production or production of soybean, and of course we cannot deny this because the China is where soybean actually have originated. The second is the Hindustanian or the Indian center. So based originally ito ay mga rice. So sa India meron silang basmati rice. Doon talaga nag-originate ang basmati rice. They have that long grain basmati rice. They have millets. So doon nag-originate ang millets. And most of tropical legumes with a total of 117 species that they have that were recognized to have originated from that continent or from that place, not continent, sorry, it's a place or a region of origin. So, kaya doon sa India, doon natin matatagpuan yung isang crop center which is called Crescent, which houses all yung mga diversity ng legume crops, nung mga, especially the tropical legume crops like chickpea, cowpeas, like those. Then we have the Indo-Malayan Center, which includes our country. So maraming root crops na natagpuan, nag-originate dito sa atin. Even fruit crops, sugarcane, spices, and some 55. Then we have the Inner Asiatic Center. So wheats then, rye, and many herbaceous legumes, seed-sown root crops, fruits, and some 42 species. Asia Minor, okay, which includes the Asian part of Turkey. So this is actually now yung kanina Near East or the Fertile Crescent. So in other literature, originally this center is called the Persian Center of Origin. So it is comprises the interior of Asia Minor, Asian part of Turkey, the whole of Transcaucasia. So, nakikita natin dito, meron uling wheat, meron uling rye. Because, as was mentioned before, some crops have two centers of origin. So, hindi lang iisa sila natagpuan or they are now considered as basta hindi iisa lang na place sila nag-originate. But they have also have originated in other regions. So, makita natin dito sa Near East, meron tayong different forage legumes, fruits, and some 83 species that have originated from this center. Then the Mediterranean Center, meron uling wheat. So, yun. Barleys. Maraming vegetables and fruits have originated from this place, ethereal oil plants, and some 84 species. Then Abyssinian, which is now called the Ethiopian Center or the African Center, which includes the East and West Africa. Although sabi dito it is of lesser importance kasi mostly daw ng mga crops dito ay mga refuge of crops from other regions. So whatever happened during the catastrophes long before, parang dito nag-shelter muna itong mga crops from other regions. Especially meron din uling wheat, barley, local grains, spices, and some 38 species. Then the South American and Central American Center, now this is very important. Ito yung, dito naka-station ngayon yung CIMMYT or CIMMYT kasi dito nanggaling ang ating corn or maize. Even beans, maraming beans, yung Baguio beans, yung parents ng mga yon, broad beans. So this South American and Central American Center has a lot of diversity of corn and beans, especially also yung mga cucurbits, yung squash natin, cucumber, and many other species and many other kinds of cucurbits. And meron din dito, nanggaling dito yung fruits and other fiber plants and some 49 species. Then the eighth, we have the South America Andes region, which includes now your Brazil, okay, the Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador. So dito matatagpuan yung mga patatas naman. And other root crops kasi doon yung a lot of diversity have been found there. So, grain crops of the Andes, meron doon, vegetables, spices, and fruits, as well as drug plants, yung saan nakukuha yung ibang drugs like cocaine, quinine, and tobacco. So, doon ang originate ang ating tobacco plants, and some 45 species. Ngayon, itong center na to, meron siyang sub-centers. So, ito, Chilean Center, okay? So, sa South America na ito, so although there are only 4 species that are found here outside the main area of crop domestication, but particularly itong patatas natin, the Solanum tuberosum. So, this was derived from the Andean Center. And then the Brazilian Paraguayan Center, which is also outside the main centers with only 13 species. So, dito naman nanggaling ang ating cassava. Sa South America pa rin, okay? And peanuts or arachis and pineapple and yung mga rubber natin doon galing lahat sa South America, even your cacao, okay? So let us just put into mind itong mga very important crops that have come from these centers kasi doon maraming diversity, doon matatagpuan ang maraming parents din ng itong mga crops na ito. Okay, so let us see some of the evolution of crops as studied today kasi marami ng tools ngayon na lumabas para lang ma-trace back ang origin ng ating crops. So tinulungan natin tinulungan ng maraming researchers and scientists si Nikolai Vavilov noon para ma-trace back yung origin ng mga crops natin ngayon. So use of modern tools like molecular biology, radiocarbon dating, and DNA markers, they are used also in studying evolution of crops. Pero indispensable, as I have said back, na yung findings ni Vavilov, these are still useful, particularly ngayon sa origin and domestication of fruit crops. Although maraming ang mga kanyang studies na na-refute, pero still, his works are indispensable kasi siya ang nauna na nag-travel around the world as far as he can reach para lang ma-study niya yung origin ng bawat crop na kanyang kinokolekt. And let us see now also the center of origin or center of diversity. So anong importance nito in the study of evolution of crops? So this serves as gene reserves for insect pest and disease resistance. So particularly sa mga resistance para yung magamit ang mga ito sa desired yield quality characteristics ng ating binibreed, particularly ng mga crops. Then, we have also the law of homologous series by Vavilov. So, sabi ni Vavilov, yung mga characters present in one species does not mean na hindi matatagpuan sa ibang species. But, sabi niya, eto din, yung kung ano man yung present na character ng isang species, it can also be possibly be found in present or in other related species. And we also use sources of evidences for the origin of crops. So, meron tayong mga indirect and direct evidences. Ano ang example ng direct evidences? So, direct evidences, these are living plants or even tayo mga living human beings and even living animals. So, living plants like how is the distribution of the distribution pattern, yung mga diversity among and within species. So, inaaral din nila ang mga ito. And introgression between the wild and other forms And also, yung morphology, yung anong itsura ng mga crops. Then, tayo, living humans, based on our nutrition, yung mga language natin, literature natin, yung mga oral traditions na pinapasa from generation to generation. So, this can be forms of confirming the evidences of crops that have evolved in a particular region. Then, non-living evidences like paintings, so direct evidence pa rin ang mga ito. Of course, fossils, this is a direct evidence, although non-living sila. Potteries, history, or architectural motifs, tools, and implements. And indirect evidences, meron tayong tinatawag na mga tools like grinding implements, hoe, and scythe. So for example, itong scythe or itong hoe, bakit sila nandun sa particular area? Because this might have been used for harvesting yung mga grain crops long before, ginamit ng mga early agriculturists. Then, just a few definition of terms. So, we have here center of origin na parati nating binabanggit. Ano ba ang center of origin? Ito ay location where the crop is considered to have first appeared dahil marami nga yung wild relatives na nakikita doon. As opposed of diversity. Ang center of is a geographic area where the plant exhibits highest degree of variation. Pero dito sa area na ito, the highest number of both cultivated types and wild relatives, including gene variants, exist. So, pareho yung mga cultivated types and wild relatives are found in the center of diversity. Ano naman ang gene variant? So, gene variant or some genes have a variety of different forms located at the same position or genetic locus on a chromosome. Although this is an advanced topic now. Then, primary center of crop origin. It's a geographical area where a group of either domesticated or wild plants first develop their distinctive properties. So regions of vast genetic diversity of crop plants and crops that evolve from wild species in areas where there is great species diversity. So primary center of origin, doon talaga siya na-develop. Yung mga distinctive properties niya o characteristics niya, doon sa particular area na yun na-develop as opposed dito naman sa secondary center form of crops that are found away from their primary place of origin. So, generally, ito yung mga cultivated areas na, itong mga kung saan nakikita yung diversity din ng isang crop. So, that is not their original na pinanggalingan kasi meron silang primary, although lumihis sila or lumayo sila. So, meron tayong mga crops na ganun ang nangyari. So, meron silang primary center of crop origin and hindi sila matatagpuan doon. But, saan sila matatagpuan? Sa kanilang secondary center of crop origin kasi doon sila kinukultivate. But, originally, hindi doon sila nag-originate. Okay? So, again, this is all for this topic and please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I encourage you to watch the upcoming videos as I will always keep you posted. So thank you very much.